Welcome back to Morning Joe. Shannon, you write this upcoming issue of Bloomberg Business Week about Vice President Mike Pence's role in the administration. Quote, amid the backbiting, tumult, and controversy that have defined Trump's presidency, Pence remains exactly what he was brought in to be, a rare pillar of calm, polished professionalism. He's avoided West Wing knife fights, managing not to make enemies in a White House riven by rival factions and power struggles. Pence has also tactfully steered clear of making any significant slights or public contradictions of the president and wisely avoided what's perhaps the gravest sin in Trump world, overshadowing the boss. And yet a quiet tension looms over his role as questions swirl about Trump's future and what may come after. Attention has returned to Pence and his potential ambitions. Pence, of course, Shannon, has shot down all those stories that he was considering a 2020 run. He's running a shadow presidency and all the rest of it. How tortured, if he is Mike Pence when he has to go out and answer for everything that Donald Trump says and does? We saw him this week with Matt Lauer in the White House talking about Charlottesville and saying, well, he came out strongly, he condemned it. Does he believe everything he says, or is he just being the loyal sidekick?
I think he's embraced his role. And I think he feels comfortable in what he's doing. And like I mentioned earlier, I traveled with him on this Latin America trip. He is very comfortable being in this position of smoothing over all these rough edges of the president's foreign policy. Before he went on this Latin America trip, Trump had just threatened a potential military action in Venezuela that had Latin American countries just having sirens going off, and coolly, calmly would go in and say, oh, no, that's not what we mean. That's not what's happening. All this NAFTA talk, he's just able to seamlessly go in like nothing's going on and say, we're renegotiating NAFTA for the 21st century, and present a completely different alternate reality of everything happening. And he's comfortable in that role.
But does he believe that reality, or is he just playing the part he believes he's supposed to part?
I mean, he's probably the only one who can answer that. But I mean, I've probably talked to 24 people about Mike Pence over the past few months. I mean, no one suggested that there's some sinister, plot going on here. He knows, though, that if Mike Pence was president, Mike Pence would do things differently. But he knows Mike Pence is not president. Mike Pence would not have beat Donald Trump and been elected president. He is the vice president, and Trump is the president who is democratically elected, and he is comfortable in that role. But certainly, if he was president, he would be doing a lot of things differently. Caddy,
President Trump obviously has put his vice president in some difficult situations time and time again, having to go out on television and answer for what Trump has said. But by the same token, Mike Pence knew exactly what he was signing up for when he accepted the job last year.
Yeah, and the time he seemed most disquieted by the role that he was put in was after the Access Hollywood tapes, when he did come out and said he didn't think that language and what the president said was appropriate. But ever since then, in tweets like when he returned from the G7 meetings, for example, those kind of gushing, sycophantic tweets about how great the president is and how America is so lucky to have him. And it doesn't seem to ring false. It doesn't seem like he's playing a role. He seems quite happy to be the person who is constantly the president's champion when it comes to tough issues. One thing that I think has been interesting and that we should probably watch over the next few months is what Mike Pence says on the Russia investigation, because he's been remarkably quiet about that. And there was some speculation around that time when people were talking a lot about Bob Mueller, about why was Mike Pence being so quiet? Was he, protecting his own reputation? Was he talking to fundraisers? And was there this secret ambition to take over should something happen to Donald Trump vis-a-vis Bob Mueller?
And again, he shot down those reports of secret ambition. We'll see.
Thanks for checking out MSNBC on YouTube, and make sure you subscribe to stay up to date on the day's biggest stories. And you can click on any of the videos around us to watch more from Morning Joe and MSNBC. Thanks so much for watching.